Garrison said they take another 100 of me pitch pots.
Those whites will think...
To the Vale it is, then.
I'll help the garrison today. Well, what have you got?
Looks like you've got a thirst. We can remedy that.
Can you now?
But enough talk. How about we retire to the Vale?
I'd like that, but... you...
Fancy a peek behind the veil, my lord?
I'm looking for a Layla.
You found one. So, will your friends be joining in? Or just watching?
We're not here for your services. We simply want to talk.
What you do with your time is up to you. The price is still the same.
We're here about the letter.
Oh. Sorry. I suppose you'll be wanting to know who wrote it then.
Among other things.
Look, I'm just the messenger here. There's only so much I can tell you.
Specifically?
A location. North of town, on the shore of Isle of Feist Bay. There you'll find a tent, and the woman who can answer your questions.
And that's all? Nothing else?
Actually, one thing. There's more than flowers in the meadows these days. So keep that sword of yours to hand.
Does anyone else think it's strange that this woman should prefer to keep to the outskirts of town?
Not if she realizes the value of the information she's party to.
And the danger it puts her in.
The tent is where Layla said it would be.
Yes, but who awaits us inside?
It's empty. Why am I not surprised? A boat. No prizes for guessing who that belongs to. The embers are still warm.
So you're Sid.
I suppose I must be. Which means you have me at a disadvantage.
Apologies. I am Shula, tributary of Mysidia, final haven of the Moats of Water.
The Moats of Water.
The very tribe into which it was believed Leviathan's dominant was born. A people notable for their sapphire eyes and ivory hair. Yet that would be impossible, since the tribe famously...
Vanished. Was exterminated. Despite the best efforts of both church and state, we are still very much alive. Though we've managed to keep that fact hidden from good Krieger's faithful for over a century.
Along with Leviathan's dominant.
That wave out there. What do you know of it?
The Surge. Only that it's been there a long time.
Since the fall of Drake's Eye almost a century ago. Some claim the two are connected, but none can speak with any certainty.
So in other words, you know nothing. Not that I'll hold it against you. The wave was raised by Leviathan in an act of rage. Moments before the waters were stayed, and the icon and its dominant bound within.
And you want us to?
Rescue him. Yes. You see, a little bird told me about a certain outlaw with a singular knack for putting unruly dominants in their place. And ours is about as unruly as they get. For years, we've searched for someone who could hold their own against an icon. Someone just like you. So what do you say? Will you help us?
What exactly did your dominant do to warrant this punishment?
What did he do? He committed the greatest crime one of his kind can. He was born. But he deserves a better fate than the one my people forced upon him. He deserves to be free.
As do we all. Very well. Far-fetched though your tale may seem, something tells me you speak in earnest. So we will do what we can for your dominant. But first, you will tell us everything you know about him and the means of his imprisonment.
I can do better than that. I can show you. Care to take a trip across the bay? My people await you there.
Lead the way.
right. You might want to hold on to something. We're coming up on the wall, and passing through can take a bit of getting used to.
I don't see any wall.
Of course you don't. That's the point. It's a glamour woven by our ancestors to keep our village hidden from prying eyes. But don't take my word for it. Watch.
That was worse than a slug of Bacchus wine.
Clive, the sky.
It's blue, but how is that possible?
You do know what a glamour is, don't you? Ours just happens to work both ways, and a good thing too. I wouldn't fancy staring at those sickly clouds every day. And that concludes our little voyage. We're here. It's a long slog to the village, and a hard one. I hope you're up for a climb.
Finally.
What? You didn't think we'd arrived, did you? The village isn't up here. It's on the other side of the mountain.
Of course it is.
Watch yourself, Sid. This path can be treacherous. If not for the sheer drop, then for the beasts who prowl it.
Thank you for the warning. And please, call me Clive. Sid is an alias.
You will be pleased to learn, Lady Shula, that I have no such aliases.
Is that so, Lord Margrace?
It's all the same to me. was wondering when they'd pick up our scent.
Stand back. We'll handle this.
Oh, will you now? Shall I keep my axe and spells to myself then?
To me, Blade!
Earlier you mentioned spells, yet I see you carry no crystals.
Since when did a bearer ever need crystals?
But then, where is your brand?
Waiting for me in Sunbreck, if I ever get careless.
And it's in for a long wait.
We're almost at the summit. From there, you'll have a better view of our home. Few have ever set eyes on what I'm about to show you. Just so you know.
This is not what I expected.
Welcome, my friends, to Mysidia.
It's been a long time since I saw the North looking so
Alive.
I'm sure you have plenty of questions, but it's been a long journey, and I expect we could all do with a rest. Our humble village is only a short way from here, if you'd care to accompany me. Let's get ourselves in front of a fire, and I'll tell you everything you need to know.
It's beautiful, Shula.
And we aim to keep it that way.
Are those stones glowing?
That's one of the cairns which maintain the glamour. Steer well clear.
Company.
If the surge was an act of rage,
One wonders what prompted it.
That's better.
Could we not have spared ourselves the mountain crossing by landing further north?
In clear view of the bay?
On evening tides.
Does morning's light return?
Open the gates! The tributary is home!
Outsiders? Well, I never.
Look at the size of that dog.
All right now, back to your duties. You'll have to forgive my people their curiosity. We don't get many visitors. Or any, truth be told.
Then we are honored to be the first.
This is quite extraordinary. Like stepping into another world.
So do you believe me now?
You've made it difficult not to, my lady. But how did your people chance to settle here in the north? Unless I am much mistaken, the moats of water long called the coasts of southern Ash their home. Until Drake's Horn fell and the Blight forced them ever inland, where...
We met our doom. along with our dominant. I see you've read the Gregorian Church's account, but perhaps you'd like to hear ours. That building over there is the Witten Hall. It's where my people gather to discuss matters of import. We can speak more inside, once the place is ready to receive you. It shouldn't take long, but you're welcome to explore the village while I see to things.
Thank you. We'll do just that.
I'm sorry, but I don't like it. Outsiders should stay on the outside.
Do you think he baits?
Who? The Hound? Or his master?
Intruders! We must flee!
It's all right. They're the tributaries' guests.
After what their kind.
Look, that one's got a black cape. I think he's the leader. Look, Nan, it's the outsiders.
Hush! It's not polite to call outsiders outside.
How long do you think this bridge has been standing
Seems like one of the cairns was disturbed by an ibex. As if we didn't have them. What to do? Busy or not?
The poor things are as pale as ghosts. Are they unwell?
I don't think so, Mum.
So what do you think of our little haven in the woods? It might not have all the comforts of a southern settlement, but at least it's ours.
And there's a lot to be said for that. It can't have been easy keeping this place a secret.
Not easy, no. We've dedicated our lives to maintaining the glamour that conceals us. Us and Walyas.
This man, Walyas, is he Leviathan's dominant?
That's right. Though he's no man, Walyas is still a baby.
A baby?
Forgive me, but you said that the Dominant and his icon were bound inside the Surge almost a century ago. That would surely make him older still.
It would, if he'd been allowed to age. But the spell robbed the poor bairn of even that.
I'm sorry.
Wallius was the son of my great-grandfather. Leviathan awoke within him almost immediately. But instead of allowing the lad to live out his life as a valued member of the community, my ancestors sought to put his power to other uses. Sadly for them, the Icons sensed their treachery and summoned a wave so large it would have swallowed the entire village if my ancestors hadn't stopped him.
Then it is not the surge that binds the child, but time itself.
Yes.
Forgive me. I'm still not sure I understand.
I'm not surprised. It isn't the easiest thing to explain. Which is why it might be better if I took you to see him. Show you exactly what he has to endure.
That is why we came.
Then let us be off. There's a road that leads north from the village. It'll take us right into the surge.
Are you bound for the wave, tributary?
We are, Delina. Have you spread the word about our guests?
I have. Everyone knows to treat them as family.
You shouldn't have any trouble now, but just in case, I would have you accept this symbol of our people.
That's very kind. I look forward to meeting the family.
The feeling's mutual.
Should the tributary be indisposed, feel free to ask me any questions you might have regarding the village, and I'll do my best to answer.
Thank you. We will.
Then I bid you good tide.
Our storehouse lies across the bridge. If you're short of supplies, you may find what you need there. Though we will have to ask you for recompense, poor as we are.
You are Sid, aren't you? The man. I wonder if you could help.
With what exactly?
Oh, nothing too troublesome. Do you know my husband, Pavat? He's the village smith, among other things. Anyway, his name day's not far off, and he's a craftsman, you see, and he's been fretting about running low on the flowers he uses for dye making, so I wondered if you might collect some for me. Perhaps, but it can't, for reasons. Please, I know it sounds daft, but I'd be ever so...
Fine. Which flowers does your husband...
The sweet little blue ones that grow around the fount. We use them to dye our fabrics so we always feel close to water like they are. You don't need to go to the trouble of picking them yourself, though. Just speak to the field hands and ask them to share their harvest with you. 2 basketfuls should be enough for my husband to be getting on with.
2 basketfuls it is.
Not arguing. The child must be still.
Excuse me. Pavart's wife tasked me with collecting some.
Ah. Werder wants you to bless her. Go on then. Give the old fool something to squirm about.
I'm sorry.
Ah, don't worry about an old fool Pavart may be.
Welcome to Haven, friend.
Thank you. Forgive my presumptuousness, but the smith's wife has asked me to make her husband a present of some elders' blessings.
Well, I have.
It is. I'm much obliged. They really are beautiful.
Aren't they just? Though that's legend has it that when our people fled from Ash, and as they wandered high and low across the Twins, he'd plant them wherever they stopped for water. So when we finally put down roots here in Mysidia,
well, that's 2 basketfuls. Time to visit Pavat.
What do you want?
Your wife asked me to bring you these flowers.
Now come out. I know you're there.
Who? I'm sorry. I didn't. It's just my husband can be a bit standoffish at times, and I thought this might be a good way for the two of you to get acquainted. What with you being a swordsman like and him being the only smith in the village. It'd be.
The only reason he couldn't turn to me for help is because I'm pretty much done with him now, though. But, for the record, the tributary said that we were to lend you outsiders. Still, here we are.
All right.
All right, then.
You use them for dyeing, I hear.
Aye. Crush the petals and we use it to stain the cloth for our tunics and pennons.
As modes of water.
That's right. The pattern, too, was left by our ancestors. The Ceaseless Rill, it's called. It symbolises the river of our tribe, with the strength of Leviathan running through it. And no matter how that river has ebbed and flowed, changed... I should get back to work.
Oh, well.
Yes? Till next time, then.
Where in the blue... Oh, I'll have her hide when she gets back. Oh, sorry. If you're after something from the storehouse, it's actually my wife you'll want to talk to. She will have to charge you for the goods, though. Not that would fleece you or anything.
I understand.
Saying that...
Ah, right.
She's got her hands full with the inventory, you see. The heavens, oh...
If you'd like me to keep an eye out for...
Oh, no. I couldn't ask that of an outside, could I?
Of course not.
I hope not. But I've scoured the entire village for her and come up empty-handed.
Ah...
Aye, that she is. Can't get her to sit still. Especially once she heard you lot were on your way. Outsiders! If she wanted to watch you arrive, she'd have made for the low gate where you first came in. The guard there might have spotted her.
All right. I'll let you know if I find her.
Hear me, mine ancestors.
Excuse me. You haven't seen the storekeeper's daughter, have you?
Little Ruka? She went out through the gate not long ago.
Out of the village?
Aye. She does it all the... There's a path off to the left which leads down to the river. Nice little spot, that. That's where she'll be.
Oh, well. This must be the path.
They're not here either. It's you! I've been looking everywhere for you.
You must be Ruka.
You know my name? Can you lot read
Your father asked me to keep an eye out for you. You left without telling him where you were going.
But I went to look for you.
Well, now you found me.
All right, and on the way home, you can tell me all about the world beyond the wall.
Everything might be a stretch.
Thank you for bringing her home.
Oh, no.
Daddy, did you know that there are villages 10 times as big as Haven in the cities, they call them? And in these cities, they...
Oh, you can tell me all about the outside world later, Sweet Pea.
All right.
Thanks for putting up with our questions. One of the big ones being, what are the people beyond the wall like?
Are we the only ones she's ever met?
That you are. The rest of the world can't. A few of us might make the occasional trip to shore for supplies, but for the most part, we make do with what we've got.
Yes. You built on top of the old ruins, didn't you?
Well, they make for fine foundations. Now, that's one thing we don't have to worry about. Medicines, metals for tool making, anything like that. We have to dress up as travelling merchants and make a trip to the outs. Aye. And now Ruka's back, my wife should be free to... So please, do make good use of our stores.
I'll be...
What do you think the tributary sees?
How long do you think this bridge has been standing here?
Suddenly, there were curls everywhere I looked.
Off to the surge, are you? Well, just you stay close to the tributary. We don't want you getting lost in the forest.
There's a pair of ships just up ahead.
Ships? But are we not still leagues from the shore?
The quickest route to the surge is due east, past the second galley.
Shula, how did these ships come to be here?
What do you imagine happens when an icon of water gets angry?
Really? Brother, did you have to ask?
Those won't be friendly. Tonberries. Foul creatures consumed by their hatred for everyone and everything.
Save sharp knives, it seems.
Farewell.
I can smell the sea.
It's not far now.
How will we reach the surge?
We'll follow the coastline north, There's a bridge that'll take us across to the Cape.
Might I inquire about the Ray of Light?
It's what prevents the surge from being reclaimed by the sea. And Dwalius by his people.
You said before that the child is bound within the surge. But you've yet to tell us how we're meant to reach him. I trust we won't have to hold our breath.
No. The surge wraps around the cape without engulfing it. If we continue to its tip, there is a path down to the seabed. And the wave's origin.
All right. It won't be the first dominant we've met at the bottom of the ocean.
It's not much further now.
The path seems well kept. Do you and the villagers often come this way?
Only me. Once every new moon without fail. It is my duty both as village elder and Walius's descendant.
But surely no one blames you for what happened. Why should you bear the responsibility alone?
You misunderstand. I do it because I want to. To show him that he isn't alone, and that there are still some of us who would see an end to his suffering. Suffering you will soon witness with your own eyes. The forest grows quickly here. Left unattended, the path would be reclaimed in a matter of moons.
Does the light point the way to the child?
It does indeed.
Look at all the droplets of water suspended in midair.
Where they have remained untouched by time for 80 summers.
It's not right.
No, it's not.
There. Up ahead. Down in the center. Follow me.
He's still primed.
I'll never forget my first priming. The fear. And I was old enough to understand what was happening. One can only imagine how this poor child felt.
He is the victim of an unforgivable sin. Committed by people who saw him as nothing but a means to an end. He must be so frightened.
Then I'll ease his burden.
You don't mean?
I'm not going to hurt him. Contrary to the tales, I don't go around killing dominants for no reason. What if I told you there was a way to remove Wallis's icon?
I'd tell you you were a madman.
It's hard to believe, I know. But it can be done. Though, it isn't without its risks. Part of the icon remains no matter what.
So, it might still come to violence.
I don't know. It depends on the dominant. I've seen things end well, and I've seen things spiral out of control. But I do know one thing. If we turn our backs on this child, there will be no end to his suffering. And I think that a worse fate than the alternative. Don't you?
Very well. Do what you must. And whatever happens, I will own the consequences.
Don't be afraid, little one. Let me bear the weight. It's going to be all right.
Is it done?
I think so. I can feel the icon inside me. But something's wrong. He wasn't just afraid. He was angry. All right. Let's see what you've given me.
Leviathan!
No, just an eggy. But a formidable adversary nonetheless.
Oh, look. It has friends. Nice try.
Is everyone all right?
He seems calmer now.
You said Walius was frozen in time. But he knew we were here. How?
I don't know. He's never reacted to anything or anyone.
The child has been bound for nigh on a century. If he has been...
It's not that simple. I wish it were, but... there's more to this tale.
I see.
I'm sorry, Walius. I will make this right. So, part of Leviathan is inside?
No.
Good. Because I still have... If you want to know the rest, we should head...
Of course.
Dad, the tributary's back.
To understand the spell which binds Walyas, you must first know who we are, and what drove my forebears to commit such an atrocity.
This tapestry
is our story, the one that brought us here. After generations of wandering, my people sought refuge in northeastern Storm, some 170 years ago. But in exchange for our safety, the Gregorian Church demanded we renounce our faith and branded us heretics when we could not.
To be exterminated, as a lesson to others.
And so was it chronicled in the imperial histories, for anything less would have made the Church seem weak. Yet a handful survived. The few who did fled north and west, and in doing so discovered two things that would forever shape our fates. The first was an old legend, revealing how to make your very own Mother Crystal.
I've heard that one before.
Yes, yet it gave them new hope, however false. Our ancestors convinced themselves that they could recreate the divine if they could only find a strong enough heart. A living being capable of channeling torrents of ether. And the heavens provided.
A dominant Walyas.
They'd stumbled across a nostrum in an ancient ruin, which they believed could provoke a sudden outpouring of a creature's ether. They meant to enrage his icon. Leviathan would have destroyed everything, had our people not made their second important discovery. A means to stop time itself.
Where did they find that? The Northerners had no such magics, or they would have used them.
When our ancestors first arrived, the land was uninhabited, save for an old witch who lived on the highest peak. Her body had been consumed by the curse, a cruel payment for her long years of service to the Northern Thanes. So desperate were they to prevent the fall of Drake's Eye, they'd forced her to devise a spell to stop time.
But Drake's Eye did fall.
It did. When she finally perfected the necessary magics, it was already too late. As punishment for her failure, the Thanes exiled her to this forsaken place to live out the few days she had left. Knowing her suffering, our ancestors cared for her as best they could, and in return, she gifted them her spell. That even though she should die, her legacy might live on. So armed with both the knowledge of the ancients and the secrets of time, our ancestors settled upon an ambitious plan. They would create a new Mother Crystal and enchant it that it might endure for all eternity. Thus would our people's wandering, our suffering, finally end, and prosperity visit us once more. And all it would require was the sacrifice of a single child. A small price to pay, or so they believed.
Another victim of man's blind reliance on the Mother Crystals. So we know the seal source. How do we break it and restore the flow of time?
Do you recall the dome of light on top of the cliffs to the west? Inside lie the ruins of an old temple. It was there that the witch built the Vare, a conduit of sorts that channels her remaining ether into the Surge. But it's been a long time since anyone set foot in the place. And now, There are others who claim it as their own.
Then we shall go prepared for a fight. That said, it may be best if one of us stays behind.
You think the village could be in danger?
We saw the ether flow from Wallius in all directions, but only encountered a single familiar. There will be more. And should even one make its way here, I doubt the walls could hold it back for long.
Then I shall stay. The Phoenix will see your people safe, tributary.
You have my thanks.
Very well. I fear time may no longer be a luxury we can afford.
The Vare is not easy to find. We must first head north, and then west, deeper into the forest.
No sign of the child.
Reckon my steel's just as good as any. There.
Just...
Is everything...
Ah, you're the outsider. And this is Talor, one of my patients.
Nothing too serious, I hope.
I hope so.
But...
This affliction, it's like nothing I've ever seen. And my most powerful antalgic hasn't done. I'm starting to wonder if his condition might... Shula said that you were here to help us.
I'd be happy to.
You can. Don't worry. All I need you to do is speak to Talor's son, Pavat, over at the forge, and ask something must have caused this. I know what the trouble is. Talor's too weak to speak, and I can't leave his sight. So while you talk to Pavat, I'll pay his wife word a quick visit. Just...
All right.
Leave me be.
Oh, I do. Though not from the forge. Fanit asked me to speak.
I see.
It's no trouble, really.
Not that I know of. But then I hardly see him. Suppose he might have been a bit more...
When you say out and about...
Just round the village. Wanders over to Blazier's place. Maybe he knows something I don't.
Maybe.
Greetings, stranger.
Your name is Blazier, is it not?
Zelda, Talor's never been ill a day.
Oh, Fanny doesn't know either. It was she...
Oh, I suppose there was. Did you see anything strange on your way back from the shore? Are you certain? Do you swear? It was like he was expecting something to happen. It was just a matter of...
Well, that certainly does sound unusual. And it might just be what Fanit is looking for.
Ah, don't mention it. What?
Let's see what the healer makes of this. Nothing conclusive. Blazier, the fisherman, told me that Talor had... He kept asking him if he'd seen anything unusual there on his way back from...
The forest? Surely not.
But...
I can't say for sure. But I think you may have encountered them during your time here.
And you think they may have caused Talor's illness?
I do. At least in a way. And if I'm right, oh, I know it's a lot to ask, but would you go down? There's an altar there. And if my fears are... Please. I'll explain everything when you return, but time flows fast. I beg you.
Oh!
Bastard things.
Oh, I never should have let him go alone. Ty, take me. You. Shula said you were a force to be reckoned.
Uh,
Hey? Oh, I'm worried about a friend of mine. He went into the forest and he has... Would you help me find...
I can...
Of course. You know about the glamour our ancestors cast to keep this place hidden.
Shula told us about it.
Right. So you know the cairns we used to maintain the spell? If it weren't for the likes of us, it would have faded years ago.
So your friend went into the forest to visit...
Aye, that's right. He said he was going down to Father. There are 2 cairns out that way, one by the banks of the Swift Run.
All right.
His name's Nassef. He's about my height. If you could track him down and see that he's come to no harm, I'd be much obliged.
Very well. One cairn by the ships, another by the river. Better get moving.
Hail, stranger. Are you a rider?
I am.
Oh, I can smell... And not just any stables. Something tells me, if I had a guess, I'd say your bird eats only the finest green. Ambrosia, eh?
Well, she's...
You're joking.
This I've got to see.
I would if I could, but I doubt Shula's skin...
Me dad's got a boat. And he's very... It'd be perfect timing and all. He's preparing for a trip.
He would. All right, then.
He'll be in the storehouse on the other side of the brook.
My lord, may I speak? There is a matter with which I would...
Of course, what is it?
Please.
Something serious?
Yes. I was passing by the low gate when I saw a figure moving among the trees up on the cloak. But the more I think about it...
And you're sure it wasn't one of the other villagers?
Positive. I think, of course, it could just be my imagination playing tricks on... But if it is who I think it is, would you go and see? He won't try to hurt you, believe?
Very well. Whether the man you saw is who you believe him to be or not, we need to know.
Perhaps. Just promise me that if...
Don't worry. I won't draw...
Thank you.
Yamila, this man you saw, might he be the...
A customer?
I'll explain later.
If we pick too many of the flowers, there won't be enough.
Like this, Nan.
Bastard things.
Before, we turned east at the shipwrecks to reach the coast. Now we must head in the opposite direction.
Left it is, then.
And once everyone left me in peace.
You one of the out?
I am.
I am.
She's asked to see my chocobo.
Or you could just say no.
But truth be told, I didn't take the idea seriously at first. But thinking about it, it would...
If you're sure that's what you want. Still, I'll need you to bring us a mimic goat or two to keep her calm on the journey up.
And...
Oh, don't ask me. It's been years since I last brought a chocobo across the...
Well, the man who made Ambrosia's tack lived in Martha's Rest, and so I suppose I'll go and...
I'll be sailing over to Northreach soon to pick up some supplies. While I do that, you...
If there's one thing I know about beastmen, is that they love to hide in the dark. What are they up to? Some sort of ritual. Sorry to disturb you.
It's over.
A silver chain. I doubt the Tombries made it. There's... Well, here's the cairn. But no sign of Nasef. To the riverbank, then. Who have we here? I'm looking for a man named...
Aye, I know him. Takes care of the cans. What do you want with the lad, anyway?
His friend. Apparently he ventured out to work on one of the...
Ah.
You're a hunter, yes? You must...
There's a bridge further down the path. But if I remember rightly, there is another...
Maybe...
Don't mention it. I'll keep an eye out, too.
Let's hope so. The hunter was talking about.
Stay away, damn you!
Hold on! I'm the tributary's guest.
I am?
Your friend Katav asked me to look for you when you...
I was so focused on attuning the cairn, I didn't...
How exactly do they work?
Oh, there are crystals inside. They're what keeps the glamour going. Should the ether cease to flow through too many of them, our shroud would quickly unravel. It's my job to make sure that doesn't happen.
And an important job it is. But you'll struggle to do it if you're...
Yeah, the truth is, me and Katav usually work together, watching each other's backs like. But when we heard out...
So you found him then?
Not before the local fauna did.
Expect you'll be wanting someone to escort you back to the village then.
When you're next in Haven, be sure to come and see us.
If you insist. Bottle. Breath of the Arbor.
Who's there? Stop! Hang on! I'm coming!
Don't eat me! I'll give you that one, I swear!
Are you all right?
I'm more than all right.
Maybe you should introduce yourself first.
Hervey!
I came to see you. Oh, my...
Thank you.
Who is he?
Hervey. One of many clients from...
One of many clients? We spoke every night of our plans together. And then you upped and vanished without so much as a word.
I left you a note, didn't I? I told you not to look for me.
The flame of your love was as a beacon in the night that...
Hervey.
I was walking by the coast near Northreach when I saw a lady who looked like you. The next moment, she and her companions were jumping in a skiff and sailing out toward...
It must have been Shula bringing us here. So what? You rode, Founder knows how many leagues...
And as I did, the skies changed. That was when I knew for certain.
Oh, why did you come? You should have forgotten me. I cannot leave my people, Herv. We must...
I'm to meet your family.
But first... You should never have found this place. How could I be so careless? Forgive me.
There's nothing to forgive. You two met at the Vale.
When I worked there, yes. To earn the coin that my people need to survive. And for that reason, some of us seek employment beyond the wall.
And so you supported your family as best you could.
I did. And I have never regretted it for a moment. I also, but our love could never be. I knew that if I revealed my secret to him...
What will happen to him?
Since our people settled in Mysidia, uninvited visitors have been few and...
I see.
That was before my time, you understand. I've never... Yamila, know that I do not blame you for any of this. This was my mistake, and...
Thank you, tributary. I only hope...
I will take that into consideration. But yours is not the only voice I must listen to.
Of course, tributary. Come what may, I thank you.
You're back?
I did.
I knew...
Well, I'm still none the wiser.
Forgive me. This chain... It's a Gregorian matter, not...
Worn by men of the faith. What's it doing here?
To understand that, you need to understand what the Tomberries are. They feed on hate, and some say that if you render them an offering, some token of grief...
So you think someone's put a Tombury cut...
I can't say for sure. But given his fear of the forest and the presence of the chain on the altar...
Does Talor have any enemies in the village? Any...
No, I believe the one who left the chain at the altar was... But there's more to the tale, you see. It's said that if you attempt to curse a soul that has returned to the sea already, your ire has no...
You're saying he cut...
In trying to curse...
When my father was younger, he was one of the few permitted to venture beyond. He told us that when he journeyed to Sanbreque, he'd wear that chain to disguise his true...
Did they ever catch him in his deception?
Not that he ever told me.
Come now. Let's not waste time speculating about...
All right.
Thank you.
Aye, and thanks for going to all this trouble. We call it an adder stone. It's a gatherer's charm. Reacts to certain rare minerals we use in crafting. Makes them ring out. If you find anything, see that you bring it back to me. I can make you some deep...
I am, thank you. And I'll be sure...
What is it you want? Till next time, then.
Bastard things.
I thought I'd lost you. But... Thank you. Nassef told me everything.
Oh. What that matters is that you're far be it from me to tell you how to do your job.
Or if we have to. It'd take its toll, of course. But it'd beat letting the cairns fall and having...
I'd rather not.
Your bearers?
That we are, thank the tides. The others can't attune to the crystals in the cairns that...
So?
We're forced to. No. From what I've heard of the way things work on the outside, our people are few enough as it is. If we started turning on each other...
They would.
Anyway, all's well that ends well, eh?
There's a large gate up ahead, and beyond it, a cluster of ancient ruins. The temple, or the Heir of Hours as my people call it, can only be reached by passing through them. forest is crawling with life, most of it hungry, which is why we make sure this gate stays shut.
And why you carry that impressive-looking axe, I presume.
Noticed her, have you?
The temple is up there.
Don't worry. Those cliffs aren't the only way to the top.
This is the mineral Pavar was talking about. The one that rings out like a bell.
Are these the ruins?
Yes. As far as we can tell, they're part of the same complex as the temple itself.
To think of all the people who must once have lived here. These remind me of home.
You're from the north, then?
Yes. And...
Is that beast ringing? Like it isn't only Haven's blacksmith that has an appetite for these things. Ugh.